I am now a proud owner of more sleep than I had before. And I think that'll work out pretty well so I can stay on my sleep schedule that I worked so hard to get before the event while still being able to enjoy the rest of this day. Although it was a bit sad that I missed the rest of the retro block, but I think it was probably the right thing to do. I was not really going to be able to be conscious for that. One really nice thing that happened right after my run was Blue Candy, who I had supported the day before, was standing there in front of the stage and waiting to congratulate me, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, Blue. It's such an odd hour of the day. It sounded like it worked out. It just happened to work out for him, but still, it still meant a lot to me. And now I'm gonna just sort of hang out in the afterglow in the fun, casual practice room. So I guess I'll see you in a bit or something.
In the GDQ practice room, the back area is dedicated to special events, usually tournaments or competitions. One such tournament was the Kusogrande Live Tournament. And today, as Seth Highwind provided commentary, the players tackled Bongo, which Liz Stars showed impressive dominance of. Then, as I gravitated back to the main practice room area, something else snagged my eye.
So as we go through the years and technology improves and people get more and more nerdy, you see incredible things happening in the practice room, like a Super Mario Brothers for the NES race setup where every single individual runner is being tracked in the world on a big screen so we can all follow what's going on. And you can just do things like that at a GDQ. It's just really fun. You should come if you want to, if you can.
What do you think of the name now?
This is a setup done by FlibidyDibidy, and it's absolutely amazing. It blows my mind. This is incredibly fun to watch.
But then, I noticed something unsettling.
As I was watching the amazing Super Mario Brothers racing happening, I noticed all of a sudden that I didn't have my badge on me, and that was a little bit scary, as I wondered if I had misplaced it somewhere forever, and that I would be That's not, I shouldn't say that.
Scolded, perhaps?
Yes, that I would be scalded in hot...
No, scolded.
Scolded.
In hot, in hot,
juices.
I was thinking more like hot disappointment. Maybe like scolded and disappointment from the staff. Like,
I thought I'd be thrown out and laced and lashed. Turns out it was here, and I'm just very forgetful because I change clothes twice every 3 seconds, and I should be better. So if you're forgetful, double check every single thing that is on you and that you need to be on you at all times. Every time you're leaving your room, every time you're going somewhere from where you just were, double check everything at all times, because things happen and things are going at 1,000,000 miles an hour at a GDQ, and there are so many things you want to do and there's so many things that are going to be on your mind. Keep a routine going, keep things close to you, keep things on you, and be careful. Also, if you don't mind me asking, how are you feeling, Yels? How did you feel everything went?
Generally speaking, I think the run went okay.
Yeah.
You know, the run was really nice up until a specific point, and it really wasn't. I was definitely a bit out of sorts on the last climb in 10. I'll admit that. You know, I wasn't in the positions that I'm usually in. I was having difficulty correcting from the positions I was normally in.
Yeah.
You know, so like it was a little bit of guesswork, and a lot of the guesses didn't work, but the last guess did work.
And in a way, to me, that serves to show off the game even more, because like I just posted a comment on the video saying, you dominated the game in stage 9, and then the game showed how it can dominate in stage 10.
Indeed,
and
yeah.
Because that's the experience of Snake Rattle Roll.
For sure, yeah, no, it really, like, I walked away from it thinking that, well, hopefully it illustrates, like, why did I bother talking about the slopes at the beginning of the run?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because of that.
Yep.
It destroyed me for about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, overall, like, I'm happy with the run. I think we presented the run well. You know, it attests to my perpetual feeling that when it comes to most co-op runs. I'm really just there to be the second human for my brother who's good at games. You know, but again, it's just very good.
I think you both are equally regarded, and I know that I think we all think that CJ always deserves more recognition than he gets.
100%.
But you're both the incredible Kearsley brothers for different reasons, and it's incredible to be able to be a part of your journeys. So thank you for having me along.
Absolutely, wouldn't have it any other way.
So now that it's been several hours since my run and there's been a bit of an aftermath and some time to reflect on things, I feel just about the same way I did during and after the run and before the run. Just, it was almost like an afterglow ever since I was accepted. And the run itself was just a joy, and I'm so fortunate and grateful that my brain was active enough for it to be able to perform the way I did in commentary and on the game itself. And there was a little bit of tech issues, actually. Things were pretty freaking scary because I could tell there was a bit of rustling and bustling and confusion on the tech side of things as they tried to find out what to do. But thankfully, I just had to wait for a few moments and then try the offline button again, and it let me start the game. And so the show could go on. And like sometimes those issues don't get resolved right away, and sometimes things have to be pushed back or moved around, or you have to bring in a completely different computer onto the stage, because that's part of the reason probably why they had me install my run on 2 different computers when I was installing my game on computers, so that like if worst comes to worst, they could try bringing an entirely different setup onto the stage and just try everything until something works, or until they run out of ideas and then they have to come up with something else, until they have to work it out, because they have to come up with something in the end. And thankfully it didn't come to that. But also something happened with the timer on my run, as is probably pretty obvious if you watched that run or if you watch it in the future. Yes, it's noticeable, but it doesn't really affect the experience in a negative way for me at all. I'm just incredibly happy with how everything went. I'm just happy it happened at all. I'm thrilled with my commentators who had my back. I'm thrilled with the way I did, and the fact that there was anybody in the room at all at 4:30 a.m. like makes me feel really nice, and I can't wait for the rest of the event. But I don't want it to go too fast, because this is just an amazing time of the year, and whenever it's over, I wish I could go back and do it all again, but that's what the year after is for, and the summer game's done quick, and all the different marathons that anybody offers, local or regional or other international events. There's just so much to love about what this is all about. It's amazing to be a part of it again. Immense shout outs to everybody who was behind the scenes and anybody who was working on any part of the event. Like I mentioned in the run, like I would love to list every single person by name if I could, because they're all so crucial to all of this happening. And everybody did an amazing job for my run. Tech issues happen, and it doesn't bother me at all. I'm just so grateful that it happened at all.
After some characteristic navel-gazing, I resumed watching the awesome Super Mario Bros. Races, as all sorts of people sat down to try, and some of the people scheduled to do the main stage race of this game the next day practiced for that big event.
Let's go. Good race, guys.
Chessjerk also participated, and afterward I got his thoughts on the Snake Rattle and Roll run.
So how about you? How did you feel like everything went with your 3rd experience running at a GDQ?
I think it went really well. I think obviously having been on the stage for what 2 hours ahead of time,
Yeah.
I made a lot of the nerves go away. 'Cause obviously just going straight up.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I think for some people it would like you would just be nervous the entire time leading up to it.
Yeah.
But that's good to hear that that wasn't the case for you.
But no, after the first hours, after being on there for like an hour or so, it was really chill.
Nice.
So
That's great.
It also helped that the game really isn't as hard as we make it look. So the odds of us really, if like game overing or anything like that. That really wasn't a concern until the end.
Yeah.
But that's, I'm a good one, yeah. But I think overall, yeah, it went really well.
You sure made it look easy in stage 9, I'll say that.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Just skip stage 10. That was the problem. But no, it went well.
Yeah, I think you did great.
Thank you.
Again. And this man deserves more credit and more eyes on him and more support. Follow him at twitch.tv/Chessjerk, please. You'll not regret it if you enjoy retro content, if you enjoy chill atmosphere. And
I gotta have heart.
And that badge is incredible.
Oh, it is. There's me.
There he is.
Right there.
Resemblance is uncanny.
Then MadMega showed up, so I asked him about his legendary maiden AGDQ run.
Say no.
How do you feel about your first GDQ experience on the main stage?
I'm happy with how it went. Like it went a lot easier than I kind of anticipated, right? Like I was nervous about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like once it got going, the first like handful of minutes, right? Like it got a lot simpler, right? So I was happy. I was happy with how it went. I had a couple of things that got screwed up, but I didn't let anything like break it. And honestly, like commentary and the host, like you guys made it so easy. Like I at any point where I just wasn't talking or anything, like somebody was able to help out. Or
it felt like the easiest run out of all three. Not because it was an easy game and because there wasn't any risk involved, but just because it was the easiest atmosphere.
100%.
It just happened.
100%. Yeah, it was very.
See?
See?
Yeah, well done. It was yeah. People are talking about that being like the must-watch run of the roommate block, and for good reason. It was played to perfection, and you did a great job with your commentary. Represented the game immensely well. George the Fat Man Sanger would be proud.
It was a good time.
The day went by quickly, and after some dinner with MadMega, my body started to feel the effects of the day.
Toward the end of night 2 here on Monday, and Yels and Chessjerk just went bowling, which sounds incredibly fun, and I should absolutely have gone with them, but I seem to have run out of my energy from the 3 extra hours of sleep after I took a nap, and I keep teetering on the edge of just passing out cold, which is unfortunate, but I'll try not to have regrets about it, and that's the thing, like, there will probably be more opportunities for me to do things like that at these events. It seems like there are things like that crop up at GDQs, especially with this specific friend group and like the larger group that surrounds it. Things like this keep happening, and so I'm not going to treat this as like I just missed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and neither should you whenever things like that happen. If you're too tired to do something, feel free to listen to your body. That said, Yels and CJ are also super tired, and they have way more going on with volunteer stuff tomorrow than I do, and they're just doing it anyway because they're just that type of person, and they know that, like, for them, it's going to be worth it, and they can justify it. So this is the sort of event where it does pay to live outside your comfort zone a little bit, but not to the degree where you're going to be so uncomfortable that you can't enjoy yourself at all. And it's a tough line to be able to see and to find and to walk, but there will be people around you to help you out if you open yourself to that, and if you're as lucky as me and you're coming into the event with people that you just feel so natural with. So that time is probably very near in my future, but I'm suddenly not passing out at this moment. We'll see what happens. My body is incredibly strange. I don't understand it. I just wish I could sleep like a normal person, but I'm an insomniac, so hopefully tonight I get some good sleep. I'm gonna need it. So, looking back on that, right after they left, my body did indeed lose its falling asleepness, and by the time they returned, I was still awake. And so, I really wish I would have gone, but I'm trying to not approach that from the standpoint of having a regret. And that's still kind of my advice about this, is don't have regrets about it. Treat it like a learning experience. Next time something like this happens, I'll have that as an experience, and I'll probably be more likely to actually participate next time. It sounded like a really fun time, and Yels and CJ and PGH Guitar Guy, who was the one hosting the little charity event that they were going to, are amazing bowlers. Like, they are up there, and I love watching people in their element. I love watching people excel at something and do it at a very high level. So, maybe next time. But still, you don't have to. You shouldn't have to feel like every single thing that you could be doing at the event is something that you'll regret not doing, because that'll put way too much pressure on you and you'll enjoy what you are doing less. And this is something you should be able to feel like you can relax at as well. So yes, it was unfortunate that one of the main reasons I didn't go ended up not really mattering anyway, because it took me a long time to fall asleep, but I did eventually fall asleep, and the next day was the beginning of something beautiful. Welcome to something beautiful that we call NESblock, run by the legend MadMega. He brings a very complex, convoluted setup so that he can do recordings of people basically doing our own little videos for our own set called NESblock of NES games and Famicom games. And it'll be something that will be all put together after the event and streamed with the recordings. And it's something that MadMega does every single GDQ that he attends. And I just performed a River City Ransom run, River City Ransom Novice for it. And I won't spoil how it went in case you want to watch it, but it was a lot of fun, and I plan to do some more runs for it soon. And Super Dodgeball just got started right now. Let's go. We're doing like a Kunio-kun block. I'm really excited.
So we're just going to do 4 steps back, 4 steps forward, and we hit the whole team. That's exactly what we want to say.
NESblock is an amazing and pretty flexible thing for anybody to come to try, as long as you're playing an NES or Famicom game. There are people who play speedruns, like who didn't get into the marathon, and this is their chance to kind of be able to perform at the event. And there are people who have already performed at the event that might even come back and play the same game for NESblock, like Yels is doing right now with Snake Rattle and Roll, trying to redeem himself after having a really rough stage 10 on stage during his co-op run.
This game has swimming levels, which automatically makes me interested in it.
And you can even learn games for NESblock, and you can do casual runs. You can just try to beat the game. You can do showcases, challenge runs, anything you could think of. Bring it to NESblock, bring good energy, and it'll be a great inclusion. So hope to see you here at some point.
While running the event, MadMega was gracious enough to give me some of the history of NESblock and his thoughts on it.
So, I mean, it started all a handful of years ago. We were at Nando's in DC. There was an AGDQ, I think. It sort of just became a, let's see how many NES runs we could do. So the very first time we used like Kapatot's PC, we recorded everything on his. Like it was totally like just random, suddenly like set up by a handful of people. And then I don't remember if it necessarily came back immediately after, but AGDQ in 2020 was the one in Florida. So I brought my laptop that time and I set it up and it ran pretty well. And then since that one, I've run it off of this machine specifically, which was not the one that I did back then. And I needed a new laptop that was a gaming laptop, and I basically bought this with the intention of it was going to come with me to GDQs and do this task. Like I bought it with that purpose in mind, and it's been great for it. Like everything works for the most part. Like there's a couple of technical issues every year, you know, like, but it's been pretty reliable. And from the technical side, it's relatively easy. And you know, the thing that's greatest for me, I think, is that, you know, every year I do it, and there's always like a ton of positive feedback, and everybody's really excited for it. And I always, you know, I'm getting ready before AGDQ this year, and I'm thinking, you know, I really hope there's some interest in it. I'm going to set up, you know, and I hope that, you know, every year without fail, one of the first things that everybody asks me when I talk to them is like, when is NESblock? I want to do something for NESblock. Like the retro community, specifically around the NES, like they want to show stuff off. Like we have cool things, and you know, the young kids, I suppose, they might not find our old games quite so fascinating anymore, but we all think they're cool. So this is really just for all of us old fogies, you know. And the whole community really seems to enjoy it. Like it always ends up being a congregating point for people throughout the week. Like there's, when NESblock is up, there's always a gaggle of people around that TV watching whatever game's going on. it's really cool that that's like my my best contribution, I think, to retro speedrunning in general, but NES speedrunning specifically. Like, I've run a bunch of games, like I've got a handful of world records in lesser known games and things like that, but I'd argue that for me the most impactful and best thing that I do for the community is this event here that I do at AGDQ. So I take some small pride in it. It seems to be well received, so it makes it, I enjoy it a lot, I guess.
I took a break from NESblock to check out the main stage Super Mario Bros. Racing with FlibidyDibidy's setup, and boy am I glad I did, because I saw something epic.
Oh my goodness, this is very good. I would believe that the scalpel got a little bit. Did they both made it already? Remember, down 2 songs lost about 2 frames maybe? No, we lost a little bit on the turnaround in the movement after you moved on. Well done, but Scalpel knows what he's got here. Oh no! Okay, 2 songs are playing really well now. And then,
Then, I got my performance and intensity fix before heading back down to NESblock for the rest of the day, where I would perform 2 more runs. The NES was the console that I grew up with as a child, and it's the console with the most special place in my heart.
Yels took the helm for a bit so that Mega could go get some food, because Mega's been at this all day long. But Yels and CJ also have been having to work their day jobs at the event while also being volunteers, while also being runners. I just hang out. Moral support.
Another good example of something you could do at NESblock, randomizers. There's about to be a Blaster Master randomizer. You can just do anything you want as long as it's on the NES. It's a beautiful way to celebrate such a cool era, such a cool console, and it's amazing. And I think it deserves even more support than it gets, because it's not a very viewed thing on the internet. So if this is a way to help give it some eyes, I don't even know if this video is going to have anybody watching it at all, but you know, if it does, NESblock, I'll provide links and stuff.
One of the games booted up to be featured in NESblock was Where's Waldo? The world record holder, Crack Attack, has trained his ears to be able to hear the game's title screen music from thousands of miles away, so the moment Janglestorm turned it on, he suddenly materialized to commandeer the run.
Okay. You want me to hit the reset button? Not yet. Not until we get. Okay. Okay. Casting another potential buffer for the navigators. Affection.
So I performed my 3rd NESblock run, and as I was getting up, I forgot the microphone was attached to me, and I snapped it off by stepping on the cord and broke it. And now MadMega is on a mad dash to see if he can find super glue to get this thing back and running. And thank you. Oh, see, people appreciate me here. But yeah, I feel kind of bad, but it's okay. It'll be okay. NESblock will go on. I know that no matter what happens, NESblock will find a way. And that's the marathon way. That's just when things go wrong in a marathon, people find a way, and the show must go on. So this is just part of that. It's too bad I did it, but NESblock will go on.
Now it's Mega's turn. Mega, 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 Mega.
Geiger said that he was going to do Dick, Tracy, Dick. And I don't know if they did it.
Because it's Mega's turn to participate, I think it's my turn to actually get off my butt and contribute and be of use. So I'll be hosting Mega's run. I'm executive producer for about 20 minutes. Nothing. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, you should probably take this setup from me before somebody gets hurt.
NESblock usually runs at GDQs 2 days out of the week, and while it's going, I usually spend most of that day there. But even as I do, I'm in the practice room, and I can at any time get up and walk around and waft through the energies of every corner. The practice room continued to teem with life, and I bathed in its vibrance until it was time to rest at the end of another day. The next day began with the crowd rockin'. LRockin.
So this day is a bit of a meme.
This is Batman Forever, the arcade game. This was another of the most popular and well-received runs of the entire event, and I encourage you, if you have any interest at all, to just watch the entire thing. You can find it and any of the runs from the marathon on the Games Done Quick YouTube channel. This run really was a treat, and LRock and his crew nailed it.
And he'll gainer spam you.
Wednesday morning, another neat sequence of runs that I was just able to see with everybody, and another cool thing that MadMega has set up in the practice room is a dragster setup so that people can just sit down and play dragster. It's just sitting there on all the time. The controller is just there so that people can try and get a handle of this incredibly difficult game, this very simple, very short, very hard game. And I haven't tried it yet, but Yels rate got a new personal best last night, and tons of people have been sitting down and trying it, and that's just one of the many things that you can just come into the practice room and just be a part of. Maybe I'll, not right now, we'll see.
So I quickly sat down to find out what this is all about.
Okay, starting out with an 841, 691 right after that. Apparently my quick run in the 6-second range was a bit of a fluke, because now I'm either blowing my engine pretty early, which is, I think, the normal dragster experience, or getting times in the mid 7-second range. I'll keep trying for a bit. 651, starting to feel like I'm getting the hang of it a little bit, but time will tell, I guess. 644, interesting.
It was a nice, fun first session, but fittingly, I think, I seemed to be geared to enjoy the game in short bursts. So, I once again explored the practice room to see its sights. One such sight to see that day was Spike Vegeta, one of the hosts and staff members of GDQ, preparing for his upcoming run in the event of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Very impressively preparing, I might add. It's a satisfying speed game. Yet another activity available at the event was the GDQ Hotfix Challenge Speedrun Gauntlet. Tons of stations around the venue had many challenges of many different games to try.
You can get a stamp card and play the challenges, and if you complete them, then somebody who's officiating this can stamp your card with the challenge you completed, and I imagine you get something nice if you complete all of them, maybe more than bragging rights. I'm not sure, but you do.
You do, yeah. Also, actually, you're doing like a vlog right now, so like, there's a thing for that for if you want to stamp for it. Really? Just like, do like post on social media, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah, you want to stand for it?
Sure. Wow, I've just completed a challenge. I'm good at gaming even when I'm not gaming, as it turns out.
You're just that good.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Shasta.
The moment that I saw that one of the Speedrun Gauntlet challenges was Mega Man 3, I had to sit down to try it. And a few minutes later...
Thank you very much.
Yes, as it turns out, this is very cool and fun. Another amazing thing that you can do at a GDQ. I just spotted somebody playing a game that I think is really rad. An airport for aliens currently run by dogs. It's a hilarious game with so much heart, and PMC Trilogy was the one playing it here in the practice room, and I talked to them a little bit, and I learned a little bit of something about how bonus runs work in these marathons, because an airport for aliens currently run by dogs is slated as a bonus game in AGDQ 2025, so it has a chance to get in Thursday or Friday. And the way bonus runs get in is there are certain events during GDQs that happen once a day, checkpoints and daily recaps, and the first run after a checkpoint is called an anchor run. It's a run that is always going to start at that set time, and bonus runs that correspond with certain checkpoints and certain days will be decided whether or not they make it into the marathon during or before that checkpoint. So I'm really hoping that an airport for aliens currently run by dogs gets into the marathon at its corresponding checkpoint, and so I can possibly, if it's a good time, be there in the stream room to watch that one, because man, I think it deserves all the attention it can get.
Plenty of people were practicing their scheduled games in the practice room, including Sharif, who was slated to play a DVD game, Who Shot Johnny Rock, in the Awful Block this year.
Well, I got another 6.1. This is tough for me to beat. I'm getting tons of 6.5s and 6.4s, but seems to be some sort of wall for me right now. I bet this is the common dragster experience. Another 6.17. I'm gaining consistency-ish, and another 6.14 right after. I'm getting somewhere, question mark. Another personal best, 6.11. The tales about this game were true. My fingers are starting to hurt. I'm starting to get pretty ticked off, and I'm not seeing that much progress at all. I got my 6.11, and then I started going early and blowing the engine every single time, and my times got worse. I'm stopping for now. I've experienced the thrill. I've experienced dragster. I've experienced the human element.
However, the practice room energy was just too contagious.
It feels right to try some more attempts of River City Ransom here at AGDQ in the practice room, because this is the place where all of us are just playing games that are important to us. So let's see if I can get a fairly clean run of River City Ransom here in the practice room without trying to put too much into this, because this is a game that can absolutely dominate me emotionally, because so much can go wrong every single moment, and you just kind of have to let it be. And so I'm going to try to. Let's have fun.
River City Ransom is a pretty simple speedrun to follow. Many runners of this game lovingly call it a running simulator with a boss rush, where the player must run as fast as possible to specific places where required bosses appear once enemies are defeated. Once all of the required bosses have been defeated, the end of the game will open up, in which case more required bosses must be defeated in order to open up the final boss. I'm playing on the Japanese version of the game because that was simply the version of the game that I had available to me on my laptop.
Let's go.
Yes.
Platforming. Nice lag.
In this Japanese version, named Downtown Neketsu Monogatari, or Downtown Neketsu Story, instead of the premise being our two heroes fighting against rival gangs, our two heroes are instead fighting against rival schools. Some other key differences are present, including some different money routing, and an entirely new difficulty mode, an easy mode, which is actually not present in the Western version. In the medium difficulty mode that I am playing, which is the most competitive speedrunning category of this game, I am currently second place in the world.
Let's go. Throw away the nerves. Internationals really helped with the cash there. I had to reset the room because the homeboys wouldn't give me enough money. That is enough money. My hands are already super sweaty. This poor laptop. I'm not going to go for the box sled because, you know. Well, I'm dead anyway. Psych!
For the most part, I use all of the fastest known strategies which were discovered by Will Bobsled, the current world record holder.
Run is invalid. I missed the frame perfect input there. Had to take an extra round. Missed the Kobayashi shakedown. That was weird. Missed up the fight. I missed a punch. Time for the high school. Ow, boys.
Though I mentioned things not going perfectly, this is a shockingly clean run for a first attempt of the session after a long layoff.
It's okay. Time to die, though.
An exceedingly cruel game has been quite kind, but the standard enemies can kill me at any moment.
Let's play it safe. That was weird. Alright, let's try and not mess this up.
And now, the most unforgiving fight in the game.
I missed my dash. That's a silly, silly, silly way to make this a bad run.
I accidentally collected the coin, which failed a cutscene skip at the end of the fight, losing me 11 seconds. But I still have to keep it together for the final boss.
Eight-rounder on Simon. Not too bad for my first run in a long time. For my first run of 2025.
I forgot about the one run I did for NESblock.
Certainly a sub 7. But I would have been way happier with that if I had not messed up the dialogue skip. Whatever.
As it turns out, had I not lost 11 seconds by failing the dialogue skip at the Dragon Twins fight, that run would have been only 3 seconds away from 3rd place on the world leaderboards.
That's speedrunning, especially speedrunning this game. You'll never end up with a run that you're super happy with, ever.
Did some River City Ransom. I think every run I finished was sub 7. Did a lot of that, had some fun, and stopped when I should. And then tried a little bit of NES Tetris, which I haven't played for more than 8 months, but even when I was playing it a lot, I absolutely blew at it, and this was no exception. But my last game was fun. I lasted into the level switches and actually made some stacking decisions and accommodated some pieces based on what I saw in the next box, which is like level 1 stacking. I've progressed past level 0, which is nice, I guess, maybe. But but I still haven't gotten a 200,000 points PB yet, and I didn't do it today. So Tetris is really cool, though. I really, really love watching competitive NES Tetris, and I think it's really cool how your progress in that game is so incredibly granular. You can make such fine personal bests bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. It's just a naturally fun game to progress in and to grow in, because you can clearly see that represented in minute or large personal best point scores. So yeah, I did some gaming at the gaming convention. AGDQ is fun. The practice room is fun. I love this environment, and playing games here feels good. One thing I definitely want to do before all of this is over is to set up Ruff City and say, does anybody want to try and get a co-op world record with me? Because the first recorded speedrun of that has not been done. So maybe me and someone like this guy could snipe a Ruff City co-op world record before all this is said and done. It could be any of us. You never know.
Anyone.
It could be anyone.
Literally anyone.
But I'll be one of them, because it has to be that way. It had to be. It had to be. He's a talented man.
I don't know the next line.
He's still a talented man. How are you doing?
I'm great. I just finished volunteership at check-in desk. 4 hours. I checked in exactly 3 people.
Yes.
Because it's midweek, so it's like, it's an inverted bell curve. A lot of people show up at the start, and a lot of people actually show up on the Friday near the end because they just want to make a weekend out of seeing the finale, basically. So Wednesday lunchtime, I got in 4 solid hours of actual work.
Yeah.
While doing basically nothing except making sure that I was there. I walked 3 runners around to show them the layout.
See? Excellent. And I'm sure those 3 runners really appreciated it.
Yeah, well, particularly Tonkatsu, who came from Japan.
Oh, nice.
He just arrived after 32 hours of travel.
Yeah.
Because there were no direct flights that he could take.
Oh, man.
His runs tomorrow morning. So I hope he sleeps.
Me too.
I hope he gets some rest. Bed, up, and destroy his run.
Yep. Yeah, I hope he can enjoy this event. Yep. Shoutouts to Tonkatsu.
Indeed.
I went to the setup of all of the Super Mario Bros. Setups. I did not get to 8-4. I got to World 8 before game overing and was hitting piranha jumps, which are way easier than I thought they were. They look so scary whenever you're watching Super Mario Brothers. When they jump over the piranhas just barely, it's way more forgiving than I thought. So that was fun. But then World 8 dominated me. But I also was recording a father and a daughter playing through and like looking at the monitor and seeing their progress and everything. That was fun. I did that for about 15 minutes. And then I got to see Yels beat the game.
I did it. I even hit the 2 frame.
Yeah, he got the wall jump. So that's very impressive. This is like you can sit down and try things that you were never intending to do at AGDQ. It just, there are so many things that can pull you in unexpectedly. And this made me feel like if I tried to learn Super Mario Brothers, I might have a shot. So maybe someday I will. But I couldn't get through World 8 without any practice. So I still had a lot of fun.
After the Super Mario Brothers, Yels sat down to do some dragster.
Oh wow, yeah, Yelsberg's showing me that I indeed was playing this strangely. Because I had never once come close to blowing the engine. Oh, look at you go! That's a 594.
Yeah, that's the second sub 6 I've ever gotten. I was walking past the machine this morning and there were 2 double 99s. I was like, oh, there should be something up here. And I was like, blown. First ever sub 6. I'm like,
this one was on camera.
This one was on camera. That's true. I only have a screenshot of my 591.
This is the best day ever.
Can I submit your vlog as my PB?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Then I stopped recording, and immediately after came a bittersweet victory.
That's the one I wasn't recording.
That's okay.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna do it immediately.
Get another PB.
This is the worst day ever.
I made sure to keep my camera fixed on the screen after that.
Oh, baby.
PB. Yep, that's a PB.
581.
The day is looking up again.
Oh, baby. 581.
Right.
We're getting there.
That beats my time. That's a 594. No, 591. I'm gonna tell Ellipsis, he'd be like, "Oh God,
No, he's
coming for my time."
he has been. Ellipsis has been nothing but encouraging of me this whole time.
He's very good at this game.
Giving it up for the clutch. All right.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You're looking for like 1 frame flicks, 2 frame flicks for your shifts.
So that's what Ellipsis told you? Mm-hmm. Would you say Ellipsis is any good at this game?
Yes, I would.
You would? Okay, good, because he's standing behind you now.
Yels is leveled up at this game. That's precious.
That guy's forever. That guy.
Okay, we were wondering if you wanted to do a pizza.
I'll eat pizza later too.
Okay.
I was also.
Yes, another one.
Yo.
Yelsrake, who had only just gotten his first sub-6, was suddenly a sub-6 machine.
Yep. That's your time.
Eventually, the newcomer Ellipsis picked up the second controller, and the two of them went head-to-head.
I'm like the losing character in Smash.
Brothers Lab.
I mean, I'm good. I think I got 584.
Yeah.
I'm good. I mean, that's amazing. That's that's Dragster on a level that I am not ready to contend with.
Yeah.
But I'm good.
This has been a pretty sick day. There's so much happening in the practice room. We saw all that magic with Yels, with Dragster, and then Ellipsis just popping in and getting a 567, and LRockin coming in and giving a peace sign. That's also some cool stuff happening in the practice room. And the Mega Man community is so tight-knit here, and they're setting up to do one of several possible ROM hack playthroughs together. And I have a great deal of fun watching that. So there's just so much going on. Just, if you're thinking about coming, you should try. This is becoming a feverishly long video, and there's probably something that has sold some people by now, and there's still so much more left to go. We're only halfway through the week.
It's only Wednesday, folks.
Yeah, it's only Wednesday.
He's running out of tape.
I am. I probably am.
You need another tape.
I probably am. I mean, somebody give me another phone.
And have to run this to the 1 hour photo to get processed.
Yeah. I am actually old enough to get that.
If you don't understand that joke, just get older.
How old do I look? Write it in the comments.
Way younger than us.
Yeah. Yeah. I shave. I'm very clean shaven.
What are you saying? I don't understand what you're talking about. I feel like that comment was directed at me for some reason.
Yeah, I noticed whenever you shave because you immediately look like a baby child.
I'll drink to that.
Another really nice thing that just happened was a couple of people asked me to sign their posters, their AGDQ 2025 posters. LRockin was one of them, and Alara was another friend of this group who I need to get to know better. Like so many people here, but I'm so shy. It might not seem like it, but I'm incredibly shy. But like whenever people just like approach me and start talking, then it's so easy. But I'm just I'm a shy person. Welcome to GDQ. But I'm fairly awkward, and so to have people approach me always feels nice. So thank you, guy next door.
And
Were we waving? I was just hydrating.
Guy next door also came up to me and like pulled me in for a picture, and that stuff is just always so sweet. It's just and I'm gonna show up for this guy's run later. It's gonna be at about almost 2 a.m. and I'm gonna be super tired. But he showed up for my run, so I've gotta show up for his, and it's gonna be great. So we're gonna be doing that later.
While the Mega Man crowd got going, a crew of retro gamers ventured out into the dark, freezing night in search of a taco place.
Tonight's dinner was a bit of a hike to get to, but I got to build my own burrito bowl, and I love customization, so that works for me. Good times. Came back from dinner, and the Mega Man 5 install medal race is not yet finished. Papat Dot is finished, which tracks because he tends to be the first one who finishes in all of these first-time playthrough races. But we still got plenty of runners still trucking along, still doing their best here, battling what looks to be a pretty tough game. Just simmering in the hours before Awful Block, and so might as well go check out the Super Mario. The Super Mario 64 A-Button Challenge, which I am immensely a huge fan of. So there's going to be a TAS Showcase.
We're intentionally sitting toward the back so that SAG can use part of the tiny bit of hard drive space still available to show like a full room reaction.
I've recorded way too much, and we have several days to go. But yes, there's going to be much crowd in shot, so enjoy.
We are going to go. So that will be in. If this will go out great. And here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This was a TAS showcase of Super Mario 64. TAS stands for Tool Assisted Speedrun. Basically, these are playthroughs that are computationally engineered to be as perfect as possible, using all sorts of different programs and tools. Popular games like Super Mario 64 have had some of the most attention put on them toward that perfection process. And beyond that, special challenges have captured the minds of many, which has led to deep scientific undertakings to make the impossible possible. Such as, is it possible to complete every single part of Super Mario 64 without using the A button, one of the core elements of playing the game at all?
Hit repeatedly and then kick off the rock ball.
And after many years and unbelievable discoveries, the answer is shockingly, mostly, yes. After we witnessed some tool-assisted results of breaking Super Mario 64, I returned to the practice room to find Chessjerk unintentionally breaking another game.
I'm just gonna let all of you visualize how we got here, because I wasn't recording how we got here, so I'll leave that up to your imagination.
The savvy among you may see Woodman's stage and assume he was trying to do a zip, but no.
Mega Man is building a mountain.
This was a zipless, glitchless playthrough. He simply tried to use a weapon.
I'm screwed. I can't do anything.
That's a soft lock?
That's a soft lock. I have no way out.
And roll credits.
And as if responding to my voice, the game began cycling through different background graphics, including ones from different stages, all the way from the Wily stages.
MadMega here.
He's up in the room, I believe. He went to get food and then went to the room.
I signaled Guy next door to come over to see if he had any idea what was going on, and he didn't. Fittingly, even R. Combs from the Super Mario 64 TAS Showcase offered her input.
So this could be cartridge tilt.
Is it a practice round?
It's
just a normal
regular game.
Chessjerk's playthrough of Mega Man 2 came to a zany halt, which seemed appropriate as AGDQ's awful block drew near. Slower than intended.
So, midnight 30 on, I guess, that's Thursday morning now, and Awful Block was supposed to have started already, but due to some complications in the marathon, things are very behind. So it's going to be an effort for everybody in the marathon going forward to get things back on track. And for the people doing the speedruns in the Awful Block, it's going to be interesting to keep themselves awake this far into the night, but this is not to disparage anybody at all involved with things running behind now. This is just what happens. This is a speedrunning charity marathon. These things are going to happen. I'm happy to stay up as late as I have to in order to support Janglestorm and pay him back for being in the crowd for me. And this isn't to like prop myself up as this heroic, like, oh, he's such a good person, look at it, this is the standard that everyone should follow. I'm just doing it. Awful Block is awesome. It's an incredible tradition every year of celebrating awful games and how interesting they are. And let's go do that. Just a little bit. But I'm gonna bail after Janglestorm's run. I'm sorry to everybody else throughout the night who's gonna be valiantly doing their part.
It's time for golf with your grandmother.
Damn, let's see that coming.
I get it now. No. Right.
5 holes, there's 20 holes in the game. I saw that, I was like, oh.
This Rex Run and Run is special.
I don't know if I got this. So what part of the body are you in right now? Well, the one with the robot.
We've made it. It's just about time for Oscar. At 3:16 a.m. Let's go.
Hello, Awful Block. Good to be back here.
The Awful Block is one of the most popular and treasured traditions of GDQs. AGDQ 2025's Awful Block was no exception to the amazing fun so synonymous with Awful Blocks. And Janglestorm's run of Oscar was a lovely addition to the pile of really entertainingly bad games. Speaking of the great value hidden in bad games...
Welcome to Thursday. I got a little bit of sleep. Something that I've been doing throughout the week is checking out the live Kusogrande tournament, which is a tournament of people coming in and competing in bad games. Very interesting games. Right now they're playing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the Taito version for the NES, and competing, just racing to see who can get through this first. And this is a thing that's run by Brosensha, and it's, I think, a really cool thing. My friends are really into it too, and it's cool to be able to just sit here and check this out.
As I imagined how my online friends would be enjoying Kusogrande right now, I checked on my GDQ friends to see what they were up to. Of course, they were doing exactly what they wanted to be doing. Playing whatever games they felt like playing, and being present with each other all the while.
So obviously I spend most of my time in the practice room or the stream room, but there are many different places where people can hang out. There's a board game room that I don't usually play board games, but there are more than just board game activities that can happen in there. Like there's a poker tournament happening in there tonight. There's a room where people can practice musical instruments. I say this a lot throughout this video, but there's just so much to do, and I'm running out of time and space to be able to just convey that. After watching Yels yesterday, I'm gleaning the technique. It's time for sub 6, baby. It's my first time actually blowing the engine in 4th gear because I was doing it unintentionally safe before.
Now you gotta go for it.
Oh, man.
Almost immediately after I sat down, with Sharif watching behind me,
Yes! There's my first sub 6. Thank you. Nah, that feels good. Woo. And Sharif was watching too. Nice.
but I couldn't stop myself there. I was having too much fun, enjoying the process that has dragged so many of us into the addicting nature of video games. Making progress, seeing improvements, and wanting to try again, and again, and again, and again. And, if you're lucky, you end up with something you're satisfied with. Satisfied I was, and so I got up to enjoy the energy of everybody else's quests for satisfaction in all of their own projects, enveloped in the simple joy of playing a video game.
How about a little variety in the workout segments? Because I've been neglecting upper body and strength training in general for a very long time. This will be interesting.
And so, predictably, I shifted my own quest for satisfaction into a separate daily channel, pushing my body to the limit, asking myself for more than I have. I may not always achieve my goals, and sometimes I even downright fail. But when it comes to exercise, the process never feels in vain. Ironic, considering the ludicrous amount of vanity pulsing through my veins at every waking moment. That said, let it be known, you're going to be seeing some really bad examples of these exercises. Be warned. Just like everywhere else in life, I push myself way farther than I should in the gym. I have to learn when enough is enough. And for me, one of the most difficult avenues to practice that concept with is speedrunning. I become truly consumed by the process. The insistent demand of mind over matter from my brain to keep going until the thing is done. I have far too often stretched myself farther than I could manage emotionally. And I've had really bad moments in front of people on my streams. And I'm still struggling with all of that to this day, but part of me still truly believes that I can gradually figure that out. And if I can do that with River City Ransom, one of the most infuriating things in my entire life, who knows what sorts of things in life I can handle.
It was about as rough as I was expecting, except for that triceps pullback exercise. That was basically like I had never left it. Ascends the fact that I'm 10 pounds down on all of my weights from 10 years ago. Everything else broke down so fast and so hard, but not that exercise. So that's one silver lining. And I should be grateful for what I have in general, and I am. I'm grateful to be able to still do what I can still do. No, dude. But I've definitely regressed from where I was in the past, and that's tough to reconcile. It's tough to deal with, but that's part of life. It happens. The nice thing about that is that now I know that I have been able to get to higher heights before, and I can have the fun of reclaiming that strength. That would be nice to be able to do in my acrobatic tricking as well. But we'll see. I'm not going to put pressure on myself. I'm just glad that I went out of my comfort zone and did something that I haven't been doing for a long time today. That's kind of what events like this bring out of me. It makes me feel like I want to grow and want to challenge myself. And it might seem very unintuitive that I'm inspired to challenge myself physically at a speedrunning charity marathon, but that kind of motivational energy speaks in all languages, and that includes the languages of movement and activity and challenge. And I'm sorry, I'm shaking so hard trying to hold this camera up. I'm going to be feeling this for a few days. I need to do this more.
Also, you might not like hearing this, but coming from somebody who has reached fairly lofty heights as an acrobat and done so many different activities at a high level, trombone and art and fitness and golf and tennis and so many things which I'm sure people can take with a grain of salt that I reliably rate myself as having reached high heights with, and that's fair. But if my viewpoint means anything, speedrunning is one of the more challenging and more physically demanding things I've done, not from the standpoint of this is like super intense cardio where this requires such immense strength from a bodily standpoint, but it's so varied and so robust and so demanding, especially with certain games, and every single game is different and has different demands, and all those frame perfect inputs and the requirements of like how fast you have to process things and how fast you have to use your hands physically. It's intense. And speedrunning River City Ransom is absolutely one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and one thing that I don't know if I can physically do is get world record in the main category for that game. But I've done so many things that have made me believe in myself, and those things can translate. And speedrunning can translate to things like this as well and make me inspired to work on my body and stuff. So that might not make any sense to a lot of people, but I'm not the most eloquent person ever, nor am I the smartest person ever. I just like to think about things sometimes and talk about it sometimes.